Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. As we are about to begin the program, I request everyone to please be seated and switch off your mobiles. Thank you for your kind cooperation and attention. As we all know, we are here gathered to participate and assist in the program of seminar on business communication organized by KFA Business School. We have 4 teams participating: KFA Business School, King's College, Phoenix College of Management, and Global College International. Today in this seminar, our participants are going to discuss and give presentation on various issues of business communication. Some of these are analysis of established and traditional theories, while others are emerging and contemporary theories. Whatever they are, they will open new doors for application in our personal and professional lives. With much honor, I would like to request Kumar sir to welcome participants and open the program.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone for their intense support and their enthusiasm to participate in this seminar on business communication. This is our first seminar on this topic, and we hope today's performance will give us more impetus to go forward and continue such events in the future. As you all know, business communication is not only limited to business, it's also related to our personal lives and to our professional aspect of our life. So my first request is that we take today's session not only as business communication, but how it can be practically applied to our daily lives. So certainly, all of you have worked hard to prepare the slides, to prepare the content, and to prepare your delivery. But my humble request is that we try to take away things from today's seminar. So first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's session. And without taking much of your time, I'd like to give way and pave way to today's session. Let's start it now. Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to know your individual comments, participants, your introduction and individual comments. So we shall start from this pretty lady.
Hello everyone, I am Manjana Prajapati and I like the video very much. It was quite interesting, though it had a tragic ending. Yeah, selection of word and its careful presentation, it makes a lot of sense. That's why I like the video very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good morning everyone, I'm Chirnoma Sherpa and I like the video because of his kinds of presentation and the normal cues he used and also the rumors that makes very interesting, and I like the video because of that. Thank you very much. Your introduction.
Hello everyone, it's me Yasis Rishta. And about the video के भन्छ भने it's like अब तपाईले कुनै पनि एउटा केही वर्ड्स हैन how to make a beautiful presentation about कसरी चाहिँ तपाईले आफ्नो वर्डलाई प्रेजेन्ट गर्नुहुन्छ हैन आफूले भने कसरी आफ्नो अरूलाई प्रेजेन्ट गर्दाखेरि कसरी रिस्पोन्ड गर्ने how must be the act त्यो बारे चाहिँ
Thank you. Myself, Deepa Rangi, and I'm from Phoenix College of Management. Thank you, KFA Business School, for showing the video. I like the video because of its powerful words. The powerful words helps to change, and that's the real fact of the video. Thank you.
Well said. Now, let's move to King's College.
Good morning, my name is Satkar Garki and I am from King's College. The best part about the video was I saw a fellow Asian guy winning a Toastmaster, so that was like a morning delight to me. And more of that, like the message was very powerful, and I like the use of his humor and satire, and how could he emotionally engage the audience. Thank you so much.
Hello everybody, my name is Abhishek Mansky and I'm from King's. And what I loved about the video was the power of stories within the video, because usually when it comes to public speaking, it's always about facts and figures, but this time he storified everything and it was actually easier for human beings to understand.
Now let's move to KFA Business School. Yes.
Hello everyone, I'm Manish Adhikari from KFA Business School. I'm currently pursuing my MBA here. And fact I liked about the video, besides what all of you guys said, was his ability to use silence to get his point across. If we could notice there, like after making each of the statement or after telling each of his stories, he gave a little bit of time for the audience to actually digest the story and understand what it was all about. And like we always talk about verbal and non-verbal communication, and I think the use of silence as a non-verbal tool was pretty good.
Thank you, Nilesh. I think Kumar sir would like to add something.
Thank you, Nilesh, for introducing me to this video, first of all. And one thing I have to say is that this video has been very powerful. The words were very powerful. But what if, the question is, what if he had not used any of the non-verbal skills? Would it have lent the same power to his words, or would his words be a little bit less alive? So we have to consider in our daily lives, at the moment, the non-verbal skills are very important to lend more power to words that we're speaking. And so let it be always complementing and also accenting the verbal words that we are speaking. And after that moment, what's more important is that our actions, our practical actions should also be very, very aligned to our words. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kumar sir. Well, now I would like to request Team A from KFA Business School to come forward and give the presentation.
Good morning all. She is my friend Srini and I am Anjana Prajapati. We are students of KFA MBA first semester. When I was a child, my parents took me to Pashupatinath. We visited temple arounds, we worshipped God and goddesses around, and we were going back to home. On the way back, my mother saw a Jyotisi, and she approached to him and let him read her hand. And to my surprise, the Jyotisi, she told her past, her present, as well as her future. I wonder, how was he able to do that? Later on, I watched so many movies, and some few of the movies I saw the similar things. Anyways, there is a person, and he has a crystal ball before him, and a tinted card with his hand, and doing reading of the people before him, like telling his past, his future, as well as his present. Then it struck my mind, what they are doing actually. And then, in course of study, I cross-occurred the word cold reading. And then I found out that the psychics, the illusionists, they were using nothing but they were using technique of cold reading to reading the people's mind. And then the term cold reading, it got me excited, and it was exciting to my friends sitting as well. So we pick up the subject cold reading for today's workshop, and today we will be dealing about the general meaning of cold reading, the technique of cold reading, and how we can apply it in our personal and business life. So I'd like to ask you if you really know what cold reading is actually.
Anybody know about cold reading? Any idea? Okay, then I'm going to make it clear. Cold reading is a technique which is used by fortune teller, illusionist, and mentalist. It's a technique that is something we can call psychology of communication. We have heard about micro expressions, gestures, and body language also. So it's a technique. So how it can be applied? Having advanced knowledge and practice, people can easily read others. How? By obtaining their body language, their gestures, the way they dress up, their level of education, and so on. And after analyzing that person, that readers used to make some high probable guesses and tell them. After telling them, there can be like readers that object or that person used to give clues or signals that can be verbal, or we can say like yes, yes. If I say something for you about you, like you wear glasses and you are a scholar, then you say, obviously, yes, yes. Or you just say, you just do like here, like this. So that can be non-verbal cues. Or even micro-expression can be defined as a non-verbal cues. After picking up that signals or non-verbal cues, then we can make assumption and that we are going in right track. We are just guessing correctly. If not, then we just quickly move on from these cases, and we just change the statement, or we can tell them like this. For example, I said like you are you drink so much water. Why? Because your skin looks so blue, right? But if you said no, then you have to, because I used to drink a lot of water. That can be done. So it's kind of a code reading technique which can be helpful for us.
Well, this is all about code reading. Now we have a set of procedures to be followed while code reading. Let me tell you. I guess you have someone in your family close or far who is suffering from diabetes. Not yet? Do you have someone very close and near? Yeah. Do you? And you? Yeah. You are the exception. But that doesn't matter. Well, I pick up the statement that someone who is near or far is suffering from diabetes. This is a very generalized statement because diabetes is a very common disease, no? It is very common disease and someone very near or close is suffering from it. That's why this is generalized statement, but it is not code reading. Let me give you one more example. I feel that you are generally positive minded and you are very cheerful. But in your past there was such a moment when you were very sad. Am I right? Yeah. See, this is again a generalized statement. No one is always cheerful, no one is always positive. At the moment of time, there are circumstances when they are very sad. But I have not mentioned what type of situation you were in which you were sad. Yeah? This is generalization, but it is not code reading. Code reading is what? When we have a subject to be reading. Code reading. This is the circle of code reading. First of all, we have a subject. Subject can be either person or an object. We have to observe the subject very carefully. Not only look at the object, but we have to observe the subject and memorize its characters. Okay. Let me tell you again. Subject can either be a volunteer subject or involunteer subject. Volunteer subject are those type of subject we go to the co-readers themselves and let them read their mind. Like I told you the story, right? In which my mother went to the Jyotishi and let her hand read. My mother was the volunteer subject at the moment because she went to the Jyotishi herself and let him read her hand. Sorry. And then I said, do you have someone who is suffering from diabetes? He said no. That's okay. He is my involunteer subject at the moment. Okay, this is all about the type of subject we have in code reading. And then the next step we have to do is observe the subject very carefully. We observe the subject very carefully, looking at the expressions. Like my friend said, verbal and non-verbal cues should be very carefully observed. And they should be memorized at the same time. This should be memorized so that we can make mental list of assumptions in the third step. Okay. I see that he is wearing the bone of what's this? Zaman. Yeah. Then I can feel that he is a religious person. Yes. I look at him very carefully and make an assumption that in my mind that he is a religious person. This is my mental list of assumptions only. I may go wrong, but it's okay. I just observe him very carefully and make assumption. I may see that someone is wearing wedding ring and make an assumption that he is married or he is engaged to someone. Right? These are mental list of assumptions we do after observing the subject. Now finally, we prepare the subject. I look at the subject very carefully. I make mental list of the assumption and now look into the eyes of subject and let him accept that what I am saying is true. I have to make statement in such a way that he accepts what I am saying. These are the steps of code reading. We can apply it in our business and personal life.
So, how many of you believe in fortune telling? Fortune teller or fortune? And if no. Okay. So I saw that many people don't believe in fortune telling, but do you used to see the horoscope in newspaper or anything? Yes. Then yeah, you said like you don't believe in fortune, but you used always like look at the horoscope and all these things. So that's also like something like today's my day gonna be like this or that. Okay, so it's nothing but it's also type of call reading. In balance statement, this is a technique actually. In balance statement, what happened is like the person used to make similar assumptions to everyone. Balance statement is a statement for everyone. It's one statement for everyone. If I said you are good looking and you used to trust people very much, and because of that you have been betrayed for so many times, then many of people had just same kinds of story. So that can be matched, right? So what he did is like in his technique he used to make a list of assumptions that could match to everybody, and then he just spread away individually. And after seeing that paper, everybody think like the statement was not vague. This is genuine. He is making my assumption very clear. I've been 95%. His statement was correct for me, or 80% the statement was correct for me. And then after getting that statement, they used to exchange that list. So what happened? Everybody have like same list, but they thought that that person is reading him or write everything about him in that paper. So it seemed like horoscope because there are so many people, billions of people, but how could they match in like short statement? That's because of parent statement. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about how we can use cold reading in our life. For example, I am so blindly, faithfully, or believe in fortune telling and psychic. When I was in secondary level, I didn't used to go to school and I didn't used to study. Even in 8th class, I remember I haven't done a single homework. Then what happened is like when the board exam came, I used to get frustrated. I used to get very panicked. I have to upgrade myself, right? But I didn't get a chance. So what I did is I used to go to psychic, and he told me to bring my books to them. And then he just blow my mantras in my book, and he said like you have to read minimum 4 chapters of that book, otherwise you are gonna fail. My magic doesn't want to go correct. So what I did is after I came back home, I just go through 3-4 chapters, and then I gave exam. And what happened? I know about the 3-4 chapter, right? I didn't used to study, but that psychic told me to do. I did study for 3 hours or 4 hours, and then I give exam and I get passed. And I thought like, yeah, because of psychic, I've got good marks. I just passed. I was not failed. So that can be done. Yes. If you make yourself something like psychic, and you can also influence your kids, your brother, sister. At the same time, teacher can use cold reading techniques to do what? To know about their student, how they think, how they react, how their emotion was. And also, mentalists and illusionists also use these kinds of techniques to know their patients. And in business, how we can imply it? Coding is something like a technique that makes you feel like I know more about you without implying more than you than myself. Or let's say something like this. If I say like everything about you, and you feel like even after not speaking word, how can she know me? So that technique can be very helpful. So, first, in business, for top sales people, they used to do cold read people. For example, I'm not talking about salespeople. Anybody can be salespeople by working in a sales department. But what happened is, I'm talking about top salespeople. How they become top salespeople then? They use the technique of cold reading. And I just want to exemplify my own. I went before 3 months. There was a festival called Losar. That was our cultural very important festival. And I was wearing chuba, my traditional dress, and for that I need a sandal. And I went to shop. I was not fond of sandal. I don't like sandal like high heels and pointy. I don't like that kinds of thing in regular use. So I went to shop, and then as I am looking for a sandal, I was trying all the sandals from shop, and then I didn't find any comfortable, or that sandals are too glittery, and I didn't find it's very important for me. And I was thinking about to move on from that shop, but that sales girl came and make a statement. We have a special discount, and there are so many new arrivals in sports shoes, Converse, and Vans. And I was shocked. I was there to look for a sandal, but why she's telling that? And okay, I'll have a look. And then I went there, and then I just tried those shoes, the sports shoes, Vans and Converse are so adorable to me because I just like them. And then I bought one and I came back home. And then I realized that that sales girl is cold reading me. How? First thing, she just noticed I was wearing a sports shoes very comfortably. And I'm using that. And second thing is, while I was trying sandals, she was noticing me that I'm feeling very uncomfortable, and even though she is showing me so many sandals, I didn't like it. That's why, rather than losing a customer, why not making that statement? If we lose or get the customer, right? So she made a statement and she got the business. So that can be help for in salesperson. And for business people, how we can cold read? You know, executive managers, they have to work from floor to shop to boardroom, right? So they have to cold read everyone because we have diverse employee and diverse culture and their beliefs are very different from each other. So how we can conclude is like, after knowing that cold reading is making relation with that other person, right? So after I cold read my employee, then I can make a good relationship with. So we have to deal with every people, every employee, every customer. After cold reading, we can know the emotional state of that person, what they think, how their personality is, and how they react on certain type of situations. And we can make them, or we can suggest them, we can make feel that we know everything about you, and we can help you, we understand you, and that is something called making people friendly to us in a short time period. So in business communication,
Well, this is how we can communicate people with using the technique of cold reading. It is a new technique of communicating, and who can't be facilitated to use the benefit of cold reading in their communication to persuade people and to make people realize that we know them better than they actually do. Thank you.
Now we are going to take few questions from the audience side and the participants as well. So if there's any question regarding cold reading, then please, anyone? Any question from the participants and audience? Sir? We will take 3 questions at a time. So if there is any question regarding cold reading, you can simply ask to Anjana and Chiri. They will be pleased to answer. Oh yes, we have a question.
Thank you. मेरो क्वेसन चाहिँ के भने यु हेभ एक्सप्लेन अबाउट द कोल्ड रिडिङ होइन अनि यो त के भन्नु एउटा पर्सेप्सन जस्तो मात्र भयो नि त यु नो यो अडियन्स होइन उसको बारेमा हेरेर जानेर बुझ्न खोज्ने मात्रै हो नि त होइन जस्ट लाइक सी गेभ एन एक्जाम्पल कि अब ऊ स्टोरमा गयो अनि उसले स्पोर्ट्स सुज लगाएको देख्यो अनि सेल्स गर्ल्सले उसलाई स्पोर्ट्स सुज प्रिफर गर्यो बट एभ्री टाइम बिजनेसमा यो हुन्छ भन्ने पनि त हुँदैन समटाइम्स योर इम्प्लोइ क्यान बी थिङ्किङ समथिङ डिफ्रेन्ट होइन त्यो कोल्ड रिडिङ जुन हामीले गरिरहेको छौँ त्यो मिस्टेक पनि त हुनसक्छ एभ्री टाइम हामीले उसले जे सोचेको छ त्यो हामीले जस्ट लाइक ज्योतिषीको इक्जाम्पलमा पनि कतिजनाको मिल्छ कतिजनाको मिल्दैन पनि नि त हो त्यस्तो भयो भने चाहिँ बिजनेसमा के गर्ने त सो माई क्वेसन इज द्याट
एक्चुली हामीले कोल्ड ड्रिङ्क गर्ने भनेको चाहिँ खासमा के हो भन्दाखेरि सर्टेन टाइप्स अफ उयो गर्ने हो क्या जस्तै तपाईँको बारेमा मैले कहिले तपाईँले टी सर्ट मन पराउनुहोस् टी सर्ट लगाउनु कम्फर्टेबल फिल गरिरहनु भएको छ इफ यसरी लाइक तपाईँलाई साडी मनपर्छ भन्यो भने मैले त्यो कोल्ड ड्रिङ्क गरेको मिसएजुकेसन हुनसक्छ सो यो लाइक टी सर्ट भन्यो टी सर्टमा पनि तपाईँलाई कुन कलर ब्लू मेबी पिङ्क सुहाउँछ भनेर भन्यो भने तपाईँले मलाई ब्लू सुहाउँछ भन्यो भने तपाईँको फेभरेट कलर ब्लू रहेछ है भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हामीले एक्चुली त्यसलाई क्याचअप गर्दै गएपछि चाहिँ हामीले त्यो कोल्ड ड्रिङ्क गर्न पाउँछ क्या अनि बिजनेसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि कोही मान्छेको हामीले जस्तो बडी ल्याङ्ग्वेजहरू हेरेर उसको बिहेभहरू हेरेर हामीले कुरा गर्न सक्छौँ फर्स्टमा उसलाई के लाग्छ भने स्टिफ खालको मान्छे चाहिँ यत्तिकै बसिरहेको छ भने हामीलाई उसलाई एकदम स्टिफ सोच्नु परेन अनि युआर सो लाइक राम्रो युआर भेरी जेन्टलम्यान अनि वर्ड युज गरेर उसलाई चाहिँ इन्फ्लुएन्स गर्नु पऱ्यो आफ्नो क्वेसनमा एट्र्याक्ट गर्नु पऱ्यो अनि जब एट्र्याक्ट हुन्छ ऊ ओपन हुन्छ कि फर इक्जाम्पल कोही हामी कस्टमरहरू गएको छ भने हामी कस्टमरलाई वास्ता गरेर हामी फर्केर जान्छौँ नि तर कस्टमर आएछ भने नि उसको होल गेटअप हेरेर उसँग कुरा गरेर उसको निड्स के हो उसले नभनिकन नै हामीले थाहा पाउन सक्यो भने चाहिँ द्याट कल कोल्ड रिडिङ सो यो चाहिँ टेक्निक होइन साइकिकहरूले चाहिँ खतरा खतरा त्यो टेक्निक्सहरू युज गरेर आउँछ बट वी क्यान जस्ट गेस अनि वी निड सम प्र्याक्टिस सो द्याट्स अल आई थिङ्क यो एन्सर सेटिस्फाइड होला
Thank you, Chiri. Now, if there is any other question, please go ahead. Anyone? Okay, I don't think we have any more question. Now let's move on to Group B from Phoenix College of Management. Thank you.
Very good morning to everyone presented here. Myself, Deepalani. We are from Phoenix College of Management and currently pursuing our BBA 6th semester. Today we are here to give a short presentation on the topic of business communication. Before starting the presentation, what I would like to say is that मैले के सिकेको छु भने कम्युनिकेसनको लागि ल्याङ्ग्वेज कहिले पनि ब्यारियर हुँदैन आफूलाई जुन ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा आफूलाई सजिलो हुन सक्छ र आफूले जुन ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा अरूलाई बुझाउन सकिन्छ त्यो ल्याङ्ग्वेज नै आफूले युज गर्दा चाहिँ अझ बेटर हुन्छ होला So we will be using both Nepali and English because we don't want any barrier. हाम्रो आइडियाज चाहिँ हजुरहरूकोमा जानलाई कुनै पनि ब्यारियर्स नआओस् भन्ने चाहन्छु एन्ड स्पिकिङ अबाउट टुडे प्रेजेन्टेसन
सिचुएसन अहिलेको हाम्रो करेन्ट सिचुएसन यो नेपालमा होइन कन्टेक्स्ट अफ नेपाल अनि हाम्रो बिजनेस नेपालमा बिजनेस ट्रेड कस्तो चलिरहेको छ कुन कम्युनिकेसन कुन आधारले चलिरहेको छ होइन कसरी चाहिँ भइरहेको छ त्यो बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनहरू होइन त्यो बारेमा चाहिँ एउटा हामी अहिले प्रेजेन्ट गर्छौँ है सो फर्स्ट अफ अल बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन सो could anyone would like to explain about what is business communication? Actually, the business communication, business communication भन्दाखेरि के भन्दाखेरि एउटा कुनै पनि बिजनेसको होइन आफूले त्यो एउटा आफ्नो रिप्रेजेन्ट कसरी गर्छ आफ्नो एउटा बिजनेसलाई कुनै पनि आफ्नो कस्टमर्स आफ्नो बिजनेसको एउटा गोल के छ त्यो सेटअप गरेर अरूलाई कसरी इन्फ्लुएन्स गर्छ र त्यो गोल सेटअपलाई कसरी मिटअप गरेर एउटा प्लानिङहरू होइन त्यो प्लानिङ चाहिँ अरूलाई कन्भिन्स गराएर अरूलाई भनेर कसरी चाहिँ बनाउन सकिन्छ त्यो एउटा हाम्रो प्रोसिड होइन अब बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनले आफूलाई कसरी रिप्रेजेन्ट गरेर कम्युनिकेट गर्छ टु द कस्टमर टु द स्टाफ होइन त्यो चाहिँ आफ्नो त्यो बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनलाई इफेक्टिभ बनाउनु पऱ्यो होइन त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ के हुन्छ उसले आफ्नो गोल सेटअपलाई गोल मिट गर्छ है बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन इज द भास्ट हो है। बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनमा चाहिँ अब तपाईँले आफूले एउटा बिजनेस एक्जिक्युसन गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ आफ्नो बिजनेसको कुनै एउटा प्लानिङहरू आफ्नो स्टाफ मेम्बर्सहरूलाई भनेर तपाईँहरूले इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्नुहुन्छ होइन। त्यो इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन गराउने तपाईँले कम्युनिकेसनले कसरी इफेक्टिभ गर्छ होइन। त्यो इफेक्टिभ भन्यो चाहिँ कस्तो भने तपाईँले आफूले बुझ्नुहुन्छ त्यो प्लानिङले तपाईँले अरूलाई बुझाउनुहुन्छ होइन। त्यो बुझाउनुको लागि इट्स अ कम्युनिकेसन है। तपाईँले कम्युनिकेसन इन्ट्रेक्सन जस्ट मिन्स टु पिपलको इन्ट्रेक्सनले मात्रै कम्युनिकेसन भन्दैन कि तपाईँले एउटा आफूले बुझेको त्यही अनुसारले अरूलाई पनि कसरी बुझाउनुहुन्छ। द्याट्स इफेक्टिभ अफ कम्युनिकेसन होइन। सो वी लाइक टु बी लिटल गेम अबाउट इट होइन। सो कम्युनिकेसन बुझ्दा कसरी भएर आउँछ वाट इज द फेलियर अफ बिजनेस होइन। चाइनिज विस्पर है। सो स्टार्ट फ्रम देयर एन्ड ओके सबैले सबैजना जान्छ सबैजना जान्छ है।
It's all about that.
So okay, yeah, I'm going to translate it. So it was like be better more. So where was it? Mistake.
I said we
So के भयो भन्दाखेरि एउटा कम्युनिकेसन थियो होइन जुन हामीले कम्युनिकेसन गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ उसले राम्रोसित उसले भन्यो होइन उसले राम्रोसित सुन्यो उसले भन्यो राम्रोसित तर उसले भन्दाखेरि के भन्दाखेरि उसले अलि राम्रोसित भन्दाखेरि उसले बुझेन होइन। सो यहाँनिर कन्फ्लिक्ट आयो उसले बुझेन होइन। सो एकचोटि भन्दाखेरि बुझेन त्यो मिसकम्युनिकेसन हो द्याट्स अ फेलियर अफ बिजनेस होइन। एउटा कम्युनिकेसन जस्तै कि फर इक्जाम्पल टप लेभलले लोवर लेभलले कुनै एउटा केही चिज भन्नुहुन्छ उसको प्लानिङहरू भन्नुहुन्छ होइन। टप लेभलबाट मिडल लेभलमा छ मिडल लेभलबाट लो लेभलमा आउँछ होइन। टप मिडल लेभललाई केही कन्फ्लिक्टले गर्दाखेरि लोवर लेभलले बुझेर भने द्याट विल बी डिजास्टर इन बिजनेस है। सो on our view business communication or के हो
अब भर्खरै हाम्रै भ्यू हेरौँ न अरूको भ्यू अरूको होइन अरूले दिएको थ्योरिजहरू किन हेर्नु पऱ्यो। एउटा सानो गेम खेल्दाखेरि 4-5जनामै मिसकम्युनिकेसन हुन्छ भने एउटा ठुलो बिजनेस स्टार्ट गर्दाखेरि के प्रब्लम आउँदो रहेछ भने फर्स्ट प्रब्लम त बिचमै यहीँ आइहाल्यो होइन। सो हाम्रो भ्यू चाहिँ के छ भने हामीले कुनै नयाँ आइडियाज कुनै नयाँ कुरा ल्याउनु भन्दा पनि त्यही पुरानो आइडियाज जहाँ चाहिँ लुप होल्सहरू छ होइन पुरानो आइडियाजको लुप होल्सहरू के हो त भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ हामीले मेनली फोकस गरेको छ। सो हाम्रो बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनको ओभरअल भ्यू भनेको बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन र इफेक्टिभ बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन आर टु डिफ्रेन्ट थिङ्स। कम्युनिकेसन त भयो तर त्यो इफेक्टिभ छैन भने त्यसको युज पनि केही पनि भएन। जस्ट लाइक त्यो इफेक्टिभ बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनमा यस भर्बल एन्ड नन भर्बल बोथ आर भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट। अब नन भर्बलको एउटा इक्जाम्पल लिँदाखेरि हाम्रो तल सेक्युरिटी गार्ड दाइ हुनुहुन्छ नि। अब कलेज आउँदाखेरि ओ पाले दाइ गुड मर्निङ भनेर आउनु र गार्ड दाइ गुड मर्निङ भनेर आउनुमा दे टु डिफ्रेन्ट थिङ्स होइन। दुईजनाको पर्सेप्सन अर्कै हुन्छ। दुईजनालाई दाइले अर्कै तरिकाले ओ पाले दाइ भनेर ओ गार्ड दाइ भनेर रेस्पेक्ट गर्नुमा भनेको कुरा गार्ड दाइले सायद गार्ड दाइले भनेको कुराको मान्छेको उसले अलि धेरै फोकस गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ नि। भोलि उसलाई गार्ड दाइ मलाई यो ल्याइदिनु न भन्दाखेरि त्यो मान्छेको ल्याइदिन सक्नुहुन्छ यानि कि त्यो पाले दाइ भनेको ल्याइदिनु हुन्न। सो वी हेभ टु फोकस अन वर्ड्स अल्सो। अनि त्यति मात्रै नभएर सो अहिले भर्खर भनेको दुईवटा इक्जाम्पलमा यो कम्युनिकेसन ग्याप पनि हो एउटा। जसले चाहिँ पाले दाइ भने उसलाई थाहा छैन कि कसरी कुरा गर्नुपर्छ कसरी आफ्नो मेसेज कन्भे गर्नुपर्छ होइन। थाहा हुँदाहुँदै पनि युटिलाइज गर्न नसकेको हुन्छ। यस्तै प्रब्लम बिजनेसमा पनि आइरहेको हुन्छ। जस्ट लाइक म एउटा इक्जाम्पल दिन्छु। यो चाहिँ सेल्फ एक्सपिरियन्स इक्जाम्पल हो। वी हेभ अ बिजनेस होइन वी डिल विथ चाइनिज
फर टेक्सटाइल्स अनि अब लङ टर्म हामी बिजनेस गर्ने भनिसकेपछि आज बिजनेस गरेर भोलि बिजनेस बन्द हुने तरिकाले गर्नु हुँदैन बिजनेस इज अ भेरी लङ टर्म गोल होइन अनि अब चाइनिज हामी सामान ल्याउँछौँ अब लङ टर्म रिलेसन हुँदै गइसकेपछि के भयो भने दे युज टु ब्रिङ अस गिफ्ट्स होइन अब ग्रिन टीहरू ल्याइदिने अब यस्तो यस्तो गर्नु अब इन रिटर्न वी हेभ टु गिभ समथिङ रिटर्न दिँदाखेरि वी थट टु गिभ अ वाच होइन अब हामीले वाच दिइसकेपछि क्यान एनीबडी इमेजिन कि चाइनिजले वाचलाई कुन तरिकाले लिन्छ नो इट्स भेरी रङ चाइनिजलाई कहिले पनि वाच गिफ्ट गर्न दिनु हुँदैन गिफ्ट गर्नु हुँदैन उसले चाहिँ त्यो भनेको कसैको फ्युनरलमा जानेको सङ्केत दिन्छ सो इट्स भेरी नेगेटिभ मिनिङ अनि डु यु थिङ्क कि वाच दिइसकेपछि यो बिजनेस विल गो अन मोर एन्ड मोर टाइम फर अ लङ टाइम उसले त नेगेटिभ सोध्छ नि त सो यस्तो सानो सानो कुराहरू पनि छ जसले चाहिँ बिजनेसमा एफेक्ट गरिरहेको छ र हामीले त्यसलाई याद पनि गरेका छैनौँ 2 क्लाइन्ट्स आर स्टेइङ होइन अब 2जना क्लाइन्टहरू बसिरहेको छ फर अ बिजनेस प्रपोज अनि उहाँ एउटा चाहिँ मुस्लिम कन्ट्रीबाट छ एउटा चाहिँ युरोपतिरबाट छ सो दे आर इन द रेस्टुरेन्ट एन्ड दे आर ह्याभिङ अ फुड अब एउटाले युरोपियनले चाहिँ उसलाई नसोधिकन छिटो पर्क मगायो So do you think their meeting will go on? Obviously not. किनभने मुस्लिम्सको लागि त पर्क इज द सेम सो इट वन्ट कन्टिन्यू यस्तो सानो कुराले पनि बिजनेसलाई एफेक्ट गर्दो रहेछ दिस अल आर द कम्युनिकेसन ग्याप नाउ लुकिङ टुवर्ड्स अदर कम्युनिकेसन ग्याप फर्स्टमा चाहिँ हामीलाई के लाग्छ भने बिजनेस गर्दाखेरि या बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनको लागि यु हेभ टु नो अबाउट इच अदर पर्सेप्सन जस्ट लाइक हामी केएफएको इक्जाम्पल लिउँ न केएफएले चाहिँ एउटा हेट्रोजिनियस मार्केटलाई होमोजिनियस मार्केट बनाउन चाहन्छन् स्टुडेन्ट हु विल कम हियर दे विल पर्स्यु टु टेक बिएचएम द स्टुडेन्ट हु विल गो टु द फिनिक्स दे विल पर्स्यु स्टुडेन्ट टु टेक बिबिए बिकज दे वान्ट टु चेन्ज द हेट्रोजिनियस मार्केट इन्टु होमोजिनियस मार्केट अनि जब उनीहरूले कुरा गर्दाखेरि त्यही पर्सेप्सन युज गरेर गर्छ वी युज टु त्यसको एडभान्टेज त्यसको हुन्छ नि अन अ मार्केट त्यसको भ्याल्यु त्यो तरिकाले गइन्छ सो नो अबाउट द पर्सेप्सन अफ युर इम्प्लोय अब इम्प्लोयले चाहिँ एउटा कुरा सोचिरहेको छ अनि बसले चाहिँ अर्को कुरा भनिरहेको छ जस्ट लाइक इम्प्लोयले चाहिँ एउटा अर्गनाइजेसनमा एउटा बिजनेसमा एउटा टिम लिडर आएर यु हेभ टु वर्क अन दिस आर द टिम एन्ड यु हेभ टु वर्क अन्डर द दिस सपोज यहाँ 3जनालाई मैले के भनिदिएँ भने तपाईँहरूको लागि यो काम छ तपाईँहरूले यो काम गर्नुहोस् अब काम राम्रोसँग असाइन नगर्दाखेरि उहाँले के सोच्नु होला भने 3जनालाई दिएको काम हो मैले किन गर्ने अर्कोले गर्दा पनि त हुन्छ नि उहाँले पनि त्यस्तै सोच्नु होला मैले किन गर्ने उहाँले गर्दा हुन्छ नि टिम वर्कमा काम असाइन नभइसकेपछि देयर वुड बी डिफिकल्ट हामी घरमा पनि त केही काम गर भन्दाखेरि मैले किन गर्ने बहिनीले गरिहाल्छ नि मलाई भने हो र होइन मैले किन गर्ने दाइले गरिदिइहाल्छ नि लास्टमा कामै हुँदैन द्याट्स अल्सो द रिजन होइन बिजनेसमा एकअर्कामा इन्फर्मेसन फ्लो गर्दाखेरिको प्रब्लम चाहिँ त्यो पनि एउटा हो सो नाउ अहिलेको न्यू ट्रेन्डमा चाहिँ वी आर भेरी फ्यामिलियर टु टेक्नोलोजिज होइन अब मेल पठाउने मेसेज गर्ने तर मेल र मेसेज वी अल नो त्यसमा ल्याङ्ग्वेज कस्तो हुन्छ भेरी सर्टकट ल्याङ्ग्वेज अनि एभ्रिबडीले सबैले त्यो बुझ्छ भन्ने पनि हुँदैन सो यहाँ पनि इक्जाम्पलमा पनि देखेको छ कि दे आर नट चेकिङ देयर मेल्स यसको लागि त बिजनेस पनि रेस्पोन्सिबल हुनु पऱ्यो नि त दे आर नट प्रोभाइडिङ ट्रेनिङ्स होइन अनि अब के गरेर सिकाउने बिजनेसलाई बिजनेस आफूले पनि त आफूलाई कसरी अगाडि लैजानुपर्छ भन्ने सोच्नुपर्छ नाउ अर्को चाहिँ माथि बस्यो भन्दैमा अब यु हेभ अ पावर एन्ड यु आर अन द टप लेभल डज नट मिन्स यु विल इग्नोर युर लो लेभल बिना कुनै पनि काम हुँदैन भन्नु लो लेभल बिना कुनै पनि काम हुँदैन भने टप लेभलले जब बुझ्छ एन्ड वान्स यु नो अबाउट द फिलिङ्स अफ यर इम्प्लोय होइन त्यसपछि मात्र बिजनेस क्यान रन स्मुथली कुनै पनि बिजनेस एफिसियन्टली एन्ड इफेक्टिभली रन गर्नको लागि फर्स्ट यु हेभ टु नो वाट्स यर इम्प्लोय इज थिङ्किङ एन्ड अन टुडेज कन्टेक्स्ट पैसा मात्रै सबै थोक होइन इम्प्लोइजको लागि इम्प्लोइज आर फोकसिङ अन देयर वर्क देयर स्किल्स देयर ट्यालेन्ट देयर अपग्रोइङ होइन पैसा लाग्दो यो काम गर तँलाई म 80 पैसा दिन्छु तर पैसा दिएपछि पुगेन दिस इज नट द वे द्याट द बिजनेस कन्टिन्युज आज र भोलि बिजनेस इज अ गोइङ कन्सर्न प्रोसेस सो we should focus on that small loops होललाई नै बन्द गर्न सक्यो भने अनि न्यू ट्रेन्डतिर खोज्न जाने हो. फर्स्ट अफ अल we have to close that loopholes which is being used in our business.
अहिलेको बिजनेसमा बिजनेसमा होइन जस्तो कि बिजनेसलाई कुनै स्टाफ रिक्रुट गर्छ होइन रिक्रुट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने विदिन कम्युनिकेसन उसको एउटा स्टाफ मेम्बर एउटा सिइओ या कुनै एचआर म्यानेजरसँग हुन्छ र उसको दुइटा इन्टरभ्यू र इन्टरभ्यू मात्र हुन्छ होइन तर त्यो बिजनेसले एउटा आफ्नो बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन डेभलप गर्नलाई त्यो स्टाफले अरू स्टाफसँग कसरी कम्युनिकेट गरिरहेछ द्याट्स एउटा कम्युनिकेसन. बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन तपाईँ स्टाफहरूको एउटा कम्युनिकेसन हुनुपर्छ क्या जसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ दुइटा बिच स्टाफको इन्टरेक्सन चाहिँ हुनुपर्ने हो. जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल त्यो स्टाफको एउटा इक्जाम्पल दिएर एउटा कुनै कसैले टास्क साइन गरेर एउटा टिम राख्दैन यदि त्यो टिम मेम्बरभित्र कुनै पनि गुड कम्युनिकेसन छैन होइन एउटा टिम मेम्बर अरू टिम मेम्बरसँग बोल्दैन भने इज द्याट बेटर कम्युनिकेसन इज द्याट गुड कम्युनिकेसन इट्स द्याट अ गुड बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन होइन नि. सो वी हेभ टु फोकस अन द्याट कि एउटा बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनहरूको लागि होइन त्यो स्टाफ एउटा माथि टप लेभलले आफ्नो कुनै पनि चिज त्यो कम्युनिकेसन त्योभित्र के भइरहेछ कसरी कम्युनिकेट गरिरहेछ त्यो बारेमा एउटा हेर्नु. फर इक्जाम्पल अब इमेल्स होइन इमेल्समा हामीले सबैले मेल पठाइन्छ प्रोफेसनल होइन अहिलेको चिजमा चाहिँ प्रोफेसनल छ. सो एभ्री वान लाइक सबैले इमेल त लेख्छ सबैले इमेल चेक त गर्छ कसरी कसरी गर्दैन त्यो आफ्नो पर्सपेक्टिभ होइन तर इमेलमा पठाउँदाखेरि यु हेभ टु बी स्पेसिफिक वाट यु हेभ सेन्ड होइन के चिज टास्क असाइन गरेको छ त्यो सेन्ड हुनुपर्छ. लाइक फर इक्जाम्पल अब मेल पठायो इट्स नट स्पेसिफिक एन्ड लास्टमा चाहिँ यु नो द्याट वाट इट इज हुन्छ नि यु नो वाट द टास्क इज असाइन भर्बली उसलाई टास्क भनेको हुन्छ तपाईँले बिर्सिनु सक्छ नि त यु हेभ टु मेन्सन द्याट टु इमेलमा तपाईँले सर्ट रिमाइन्डर लागि तपाईँले पठाउनु पऱ्यो यु नो वाट यु हेभ टास्क असाइन र त्यहाँ डिटेल छैन नि त द्याट्स अ मिसकम्युनिकेसन. त्यो गर्दा चाहिँ इट्स अ ह्युज फेलियर अफ बिजनेस. एन्ड अदर दिस ल्याङ्ग्वेज बाहिर यसरी चाइनिजको लागि यस्तो चाइनिजको उसमा सिकेर इक्जाम्पल चाइनिज त्यो के हुन्छ भने त्यहाँ ट्रान्सलेट भनेको इट्स अ मिसकम्युनिकेसन होइन त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ बिजनेसमा कन्फ्लिक्ट आउनु चाहिँ चाइनिजले एउटा भन्नु हाल्छ तर नेपाली त्यो बुझ्दैन बुझ्यो भने नि आज गेस्टर यताउतिले गरेर आएको थियो त्यो गेस्टरले गर्दाखेरि पनि अलिक नबुझ्ने हुन्छ नि त लाइक सम गेस्टरहरू 2 मिनट होइन 2 मिनट गेस्टरहरू चाहिँ 2 मिनट वर्ड्सहरू हुन्छ त्यसले गर्दाखेरि त्यहाँ पनि बुझ्न गाह्रो भइरहन्छ कि लाइक भर्बली पनि इट्स रिक्वायर्ड टु बी अ बेटर कम्युनिकेसन. And the next is good communication skill really are necessary. Yeah, management never listens anyway. हामी ट्रेन्ड अहिले पढ्ने के छ भने म यहाँको टपमा मेरो डिसिसन हो म आफ्नो मेरो डिसिसन त्यो गर्न चलाउनु पर्छ. इट्स नट कम्युनिकेसन स्टाफले भनेको सुन्नुपर्छ है. अहिले अब कुनै चिज अब आफूले सिङ्गल डिसिसन मात्र गरेको राम्रो हुँदैन सिङ्गल आफूले मात्र गरेर म गर्छु द्याट्स नट है. अब दुईतिर कम्युनिकेसन फ्लो हो इट्स लाइक बिजनेस क्यान्डिडेट जुन सेटअप गोल गरेर त्यो मिट गर्न सक्छ त्यो इट्स लाइक तपाईँको एउटा रिसर्च टाइपको हुन्छ कि बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन भनेको इट्स लाइक रिसर्च. तपाईँले रिसर्च गरेर चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ एउटा बिजनेसलाई कसरी आफ्नो फ्लोमा लान सक्नुहुन्छ त्यो है. सो एन्ड हियर इज द पोइन्ट कन्क्लुजन जुन हाम्रो युएसमा डोनाल्ड ट्रम्पले गरेको थियो होइन फर 9 मिनट्स यो धेरै कन्फ्लिक्ट बनाएको थियो केको लागि थियो कुन मिलिटरीलाई थियो होइन मिलिटरीको के होला वाइ इज अबाउट न्युक्लियर होइन केको लागि थियो त कुनै एनी नट कन्फ्युजन वाट इज अबाउट द वाल बिट्विन मेक्सिको होइन त्यो कुरा थियो जसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मेक बिग कन्फ्लिक्ट जसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो जुन 9 मिनट जुन प्रेसिडेन्ट होइन प्रेसिडेन्टले यो भयो एउटा कुनै एउटा मेसेज फ्लो भयो त्यो फ्लो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईँको एउटा सानो एउटा वर्ड जस्ट अ वर्ड तपाईँले अघि भिडियो भने जस्ट अ वर्ड क्यान मेक अ ह्युज डिफरेन्स होइन. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईँको के हो कुन चाहिँ चिज हो मेन पोइन्टमा आउन सक्दैन 9 मिनट्स चाहिँ तपाईँको यो ह्युज कन्फ्लिक्ट भनेको थियो जुन कि यो मेसेजले डिनोट के गर्नु थियो भने जुन ट्रान्सजेन्डरहरूलाई इलिजिबिलिटीमा नराख्ने भन्ने कुरा छ जुन यसमा स्पेसिफिक गराएको थिएन है. त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मेक अ ह्युज कन्फ्लिक्ट.
Thank you. हामीले सुरुमा हेऱ्यौँ कि कसरी मिसइन्टरप्रिटेसन हुन्छ, कसरी मिसकम्युनिकेसन हुन्छ। अब अर्को कम्युनिकेसनको अर्को प्रब्लम भनेको चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि इन्कम्प्लिट मेसेजेस होइन। अब एउटा मिटिङ छ अरे साइलेन्ट हुन्छ होइन, देयर इज भेरी सिरियस प्रब्लम कि कम्पनी लसमा जाँदैछ अनि अगाडि आएर सिओले भने our company is in great loss, now we have to focus on our CSR. So anybody want to say कि मैले के भन्न खोजेँ होला?
What do you know about CSR?
Corporate social responsibility. तर मैले त्यो भन्न खोजेको होइन नि त, मैले कस्टमर सर्भिस रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ्स भन्न खोजेको। CSR मतलब corporate social responsibility पनि भयो, customer service representative पनि भयो। I want to change my customer service representative ताकि ऊ कस्टमरमा गएर नयाँ नयाँ आइडियाज दियोस्, कस्टमरसँग मजाले कम्युनिकेसन। नाउ द कम्युनिकेसन ग्याप इज हियर, किनभने मेसेज इन्कम्प्लिट छ, उहाँले जे बुझ्नुहुन्छ उहाँले डिफ्रेन्ट बुझ्नुहुन्छ। सो यो पनि एउटा कारण हो कि जसले गर्दा बिजनेसहरूलाई प्रब्लम भइरहेछ, इम्प्लोइहरूलाई लो लेभलहरूलाई कुरा गर्नमा प्रब्लम भइरहेछ। सो इन्कम्प्लिट मेसेजेसहरू भयो। अनि नयाँ ट्रेन्डले अहिले भर्खरको रिसेन्टली न्युज लिउँ न, यो साझा सवालमा जुन चाहिँ प्राइम मिनिस्टरलाई एउटाले क्वेसन सोध्यो एन्ड द्याट बिकम अ ह्युज कन्फ्लिक्ट इन आवर कन्ट्री होइन। उसले सोधेको अर्को थियो, प्राइम मिनिस्टरले बुझ्यो अर्को होइन। उसले भन्न खोजेको थियो कि हाम्रो कन्ट्रीमा एजुकेटेड प्राइम मिनिस्टर कहिले हुने होइन। अरूको कन्ट्रीमा अक्सफोर्डदेखि पढेको स्टुडेन्टहरू प्राइम मिनिस्टर हुन्छ, हाम्रोमा पढेको स्टुडेन्ट कहिले हुने? द्याट वाज ओन्ली द क्वेसन he asked होइन। अनि वाट द प्राइम मिनिस्टर थिङ्क इज नेपालमा पनि अक्सफोर्डमा पढेको प्राइम मिनिस्टर चाहियो। द्याट वाज नट वाट यु वान्ट टु से। यस्तो त्यति कुराले गर्दाखेरि प्राइम मिनिस्टरको इमेजमा कति दिनसम्म रिमर भयो होइन। द्याट्स अ भेरी ग्रेट लस फर एभ्री वान।
How to make an effective business communication? First of all, we need to know about five WH. Who, what, where, when. त्यो तपाईँको कुरा 5 WH. त्यो चाहिँ त्यसमा हामीले फोकस गर्नुपर्छ होइन बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन इफेक्टिभ बनाउनलाई। एन्ड टु नो अबाउट तपाईँले स्पेसिफिक डाटा, कन्साइज डाटाहरू तपाईँ कुनै इन्फर्मेसन फ्लो गर्नुहुन्छ द्याट मस्ट बी कन्साइज स्पेसिफिक डाटा होइन। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईँले कुनै पनि चिज छुटाउनु हुँदैन, स्पेसिफिक भयो, कन्साइज भयो, सर्टकट भयो। नो वान हेज टाइम टु रिड द लङ डाटा, जो चाहिँ तपाईँको टाइमको वेस्ट गर्छ। इट्स अबाउट अल द टाइम होइन। सो जुन चाहिँ तपाईँले बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन इफेक्टिभ हुन्छ होइन। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसन भइसकेपछि चाहिँ एउटा कुनै पनि चिजको तपाईँले कुनै पनि बिजनेसको एउटा कन्सेप्ट अफ मेड गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ त्यो चिज इफेक्टिभ भयो होइन। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईँले बिजनेस कम्युनिकेसनलाई एउटा स्मुथ फ्लो बनाउन सक्नुहुन्छ।
So much, Phoenix College of Management. Now we will be taking few questions. If there is anything, anyone would like to question, please go ahead. We will be taking 3 questions at a time. Anyone? Any questions for Phoenix College of Management? Oh yes, we have.
Yeah. I thought that you will be talking about the recent trend in communication because I saw that in the initial slide, but I found nothing about that.
Yes, our topic is trend of business communication, but not a new trends in business communication. It's only a trends in business communication. And before starting the presentation, what I have said is we have not looked after the new trends, but we have looked after the trends that have loopholes. And business communication गर्दाखेरि ट्रेन्ड्समा पनि के loopholes छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हामीले डिस्कस गरेको हो। न्यू ट्रेन्ड्स भनेर we have not presented it on site. पहिलाको ट्रेन्ड जुन हामीले फलो जस्ट लाइक हामीले के भने एकअर्कासँग कम्युनिकेट गर्नुपर्छ होइन, एकअर्कासँग राम्रोसँग बुझ्नु, तर त्यसमा पनि लुप होल्स कहाँ आउँछ? कम्युनिकेट त गर्ने तर कसरी गर्ने? 5 जनामा कम्युनिकेट गर्दा त प्रब्लम आइरहेको छ भने बिजनेसले चाहिँ कति मान्छेमा कसरी कम्युनिकेट गर्ने त? त्यसमा प्रब्लम्स के छ त बिचमा? वी हेभ डिस्कस अबाउट द्याट।
It's not a question, right? She was talking about that. I think your title, even I thought it. I was also agree that we mostly thought it was about new things in education, right? and that goes into what everything you said, like one of the 7 C's of communication, completeness, to statement, consciousness one, completeness जुन title हुन्छ नि, so त्यो चाहिँ देखाउँछ नि, so maybe this is a lesson for all of us as well.
I have one confession to make. I'm pretty sure you guys believe that as well. I personally hate presentations. How many of you hate presentations here? Okay, double hands. Okay, great. I was actually sure that you hated presentations as well. And the other thing about presentation is we just don't hate presentations. We hate presentations, especially the ones which looks like this. A lot of text and a very boring background, and the topic doesn't really make us anywhere excited, right? So one thing that we've seen in the business communication world right now is that presentations are definitely boring, right?
Now, another thing about presentations is that as a student myself, I have seen my friends, I have seen myself making so many excuses. Like, suppose like, as presentation है मेरो हैन
हजुर कता तिम्रो presentation?
मैले आज प्रिन्ट ल्याउन बिर्सेँ क्या
Pen drive ल्याउन बिर्सेँ, okay?
गर्दा त गराएको थिएँ मैले कस्तो मेरो गरेर गराएको थिएँ हैन अर्को प्रब्लम पनि थियो क्या मसित
के भयो?
त्यसो घरमा वाइफाई चलेन क्या
Okay, Wi-Fi पनि चलेन. Alright. अरु के? त्यो
त्यसमा
बाहेक?
भन्नुपर्दा चाहिँ मलाई यस्तो त्यो अड्याएर बोल्न डर साह्रै डर लाग्छ
Alright, so
besides that, excuses and presentations being boring, there are too many limitations. Like, people keep on saying that think outside the box, be creative, explore yourself, and they keep on limiting within that same box. There are so many limitations such as don't use other phones only times new room, which is pretty boring and it's very obsolete. And another one is don't use more than 6 points per slide. And then don't use more than 10 slides again. And do not wear casual dress.
sorry.
And another one is do not put your hand in the pocket, but I have. It does not really matter because the presentation is you, not your hands. And another one is don't use Nepali, only English. And another one can be
That's
oh,
it.
that's it, 6 points. Okay, now
We can go more than 6 points because
now moving on to another point. Like Kanye West said this, people talk too much in the barber shop, they forget to get their hair cut. Like this thing I personally feel गरेको हैन, like my friends, my colleagues, like they go to the tea shop, चिया खाँदै हुन्छ, चिया चुरोट, चिया कफी, चिया जे पनि खाए पनि हुन्छ नि त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकदम बोल्ने क्या। अब त्यसको पोलिटिक्सको बारेमा बोलेको हुन्छ, हिजो के पनि बोलेको हुन्छ, तर क्लासमा प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने बेला, क्लासमा एन्सर दिने बेला चाहिँ चुप क्या। So that is a problem I have faced so many times, and I have seen so many people doing that. I don't know why they do not speak when it's their time to speak and put out their opinions and stuff like that. So, I'm introduce
exactly this is us. So
Very cool.
So this is Satkar. Satkar Karki is a BBA student at King's College, and I am Abhishek, and I am an MBA student. So this is what we represent right now. And the topic for today is going to be unlearning presentations. We've learned so much about presentations, so now I think it's time that we forget about whatever we've learned and try to update ourselves with what's really happening in the real world, right? So what we've seen in the presentation world is that a good presentation is always able to connect the presenter and the audience. So we started off with I hate presentations, and we were sure that most of the crowd in this room would hate presentations, right? As soon as we understand and we connect with the audience, the next step that we would personally love to do would be to actually inform them. So maybe what our main message is, a presentation is pointless as long as we cannot send the message across, right? And the last step, and which I guess is the most important step, especially as business students, is being able to inspire them to take an action. So you're at a presentation, it's not just important to actually give a presentation and just go, okay, thank you, and then at the end of the presentation, there should be a clear message saying what they have to do next. So let's begin with connect. What usually connects human beings is very simple, but we tend to forget that. We always start with the executive summary in our presentation. And so today we're going to talk about the topic that's the kind of usual reactions we have. But what we have understood right now through giving presentation is that if we ever want to connect with the audience, the first thing we want to do, we're going to tell them stories, because stories has always been the way we communicate, right? We know 1912 मा के भएको थियो because मेरो grandfatherलाई उहाँको grandfatherले कुनै कथा सुनाउनु भएको थियो कि. I'm pretty sure you have also heard this story. हुन्छ नि तिमीहरूको पो मोज छ त बाइक चलाउँदै कलेज जान पाउँछ, हामीहरूको बेलामा त गाई हान्दै जाँदै अनि हुन्छ नि गाईलाई टक्क टियुको बाहिर बाँधिदियो अनि त्यहाँ घाँसमा खाँदै गर्छ अनि म भित्र कुदेर गएर पढ्नु पर्थ्यो. त्यस्तो पो हुँदैन. आई गेट पिस्ड अफ कि and I say मलाई पनि गाई किन्दैन, म पनि अबदेखि कलेज गएर. So but again, the whole point of this is when we tell people stories, it's easy to connect. How many of you remember this story? Yo, खरायो र कछुवा वाला. Can anybody tell me that story real quick?
He has TD at the same time. पुलिस हुन्छ अनि पुलिस सुरुमा चाहिँ त्यो बटन लाइन फर्स्टमा पुग्छ भनेर उनीहरू पुलिस हुन्छ, दुवैजना कुद्छन् खरायो आफ्नो स्पिडमा कुदिरहन्छ, कछुवा आफ्नो स्पिडमा. कछुवा चाहिँ बिस्तारै गइरहन्छ बस्तीरी, खरायो पुग्छ he get tired at some time. अनि त्यसपछि पुरा हेर्छ कि कछुवा त पर देख्छ अनि त्यसपछि रोक्छ. एकछिन यसपछि ऊ आउँदाखेरि म त कुटिहाल्छु त्यहाँसम्म भनेर भन्छ. त्यसपछि लास्टमा त्यो चिन हुन्छ क्या, कछुवा आउँदै गर्छ के अरे ऊ थाकेको हुन्छ, त्यही पनि लिँदाउँछ रेस्ट अनि आफू गएर जान्छ अनि त्यसपछि हि क्रस द बटन लाइन फर्स्ट अनि बिचरा खरायो त.
Alright, great. So one thing we can notice right now, we've heard this story thousands of times, and we heard this story probably, if I assume the average age of this room is about 25, we heard this at least 20 years back. And we still remember the story. And when she was telling the story, everybody of us were listening to that, because stories connect people. That's the main point that I want to make. Stories connect people. So when stories connect people, the next step we're going to do is we're going to inspire,
inform them. And we all know that this is the age of information. Back in the days, information was very inaccessible, and like it was very hard to get the right information at the right time, and you need to do a lot of research. But right now, information is in the palm of your hand. You can just Google it, you can just go to some PDFs and you can find it. Now, when it comes to presentation, information does not need to be something like astronomical, like मैले चाहिँ कुनै त्यो element नयाँ पाएँ and if I can tell the astronomical weight of the element right now, none of us will understand, because हामीले कसैले पनि science पढेको होइन नि त, पढ्यौँ होला तर like we're not doing our major in science, it will not be relatable. So what we can do is we can gather all this information and we can humanize them. Suppose there's a scientific theory that says like 1 out of 50% of women are blonde. 50% of women are blonde. So what I can say is half of the women here is blonde. So that will be relatable and the information will pass on at the same time. So we can, first step is humanizing the information, and the next step is make it relatable and customized to according to your specific audience, so you can relate it to your audience with suitable examples and questions, so you can entertain them. And the next step towards it.
But before we go to the next step, I have one more point that I want to make. Let's go back to the story again, the Kotsa and Koraya story, right? So when we tell people the story of the turtle and the rabbit, how many of you remember the moral of the story? Exactly, right? So that's the information part. So when we tell a story, making a point after that story is going to be the informed part. When we're talking about connect, inform, and inspire. Inspire is the part that's coming next.
So coming on to the story, we get the message from it like slow and steady Mr. Race. So that inspires us to be steady at every time and be consistent towards it. So in business world, there's a term called call to action that defines our inspiration, because like हुन्छ नि कुनै कुराबाट मोरल लिएर कुनै कुराबाट इन्स्पायर भएर हुन्छ नि ल म यस्तो गर्छु भनेर आफ्नो मात्र राख्नु हुँदैन क्या. Like you need to turn your words and those morals into an action, which will actually complete the process of communication as a whole.
So this again, we tell them the story which connects people. We inform them that slow and steady wins the race. So now we inspire them to take an action, which probably might be something like, now that you know that slow and steady wins the race, it's never too late to start, or it's always important to keep going and not stop. So that can be one of the things that we can do in a presentation. And again, we just gave a mini presentation within a presentation. Inception, that's the type of thing. So the main point we want to make with this presentation is that first thing is limitations are good, but not at the cost of creativity. So if you've noticed that your presentation, we got an email guideline saying don't go more than 10 slides. Can you imagine how many slides we've gone through by this summer? No? Around 9 or 10. Exactly, that's the whole point that we wanted to make. It's actually the 22nd slide that we're showing already. So our point is, there is time limitation, but there is no slide limitation. We can be creative with that, and that is fun to do, right?
And the next thing is, when you mix your passion with presentation, you won't make any more excuses. Why? Because we're very good at designs and we're very good at our storytelling and slides, so we created all these cool slides so we can relate to you. And some of you might be a very good artist. You do not need a PowerPoint presentation or stuff like that. You could just bring an empty canvas, you can just paint it. And because there's an artist called Basquiat, what he used to do was he would bring an empty canvas. Plus उसले एउटा स्ट्रोक अफ पेन्ट युज टु डु अनि त्यसपछि उसले त्यो प्रोसेसबाटै रन गर्थ्यो क्या आफ्नो अडियन्सहरूलाई क्या बिग्रियो भने पनि he will not scrap it, he will just paint over it and create a story over it. So you could do something like that, and if you're a musician you could just find a tune and you can engage your audience and you can send your message across. So when you mix your passion with presentation, you don't need to make any more excuses. So यसो गरे कस्तो होला? Now once you have passion, and once you have no excuses, once you have no limitations, there is no way in the world that your presentations are going to be boring.
Thank you. So yes, we're open for questions.
Anyone? We'll be taking 3 questions at a time. So anybody would like to questions, and our presenters are very pleased to answer them. Any questions, Miss? Yeah. From the audience side?
Yeah, exactly. कहिले काहीँ यस्तो हुन्छ कि रिभर्सहरू युज गर्ने हामीले लाफको लागि एउटा राख्नु हुन्छ बट त्यो टाइम त्यो कुनै कुनै अडियन्सहरूलाई यो हुँदैन नि त किन लाग्छ सो त्यो बेला चाहिँ अनि त्यो माथि झन् हाम्रो त्यो पुरै यो गर भनेर दिएर हाम्रो इन्स्ट्रक्सन, सो इन्स्ट्रक्सनलाई नै नमानिकन आफ्नै जेमर्जी गर्दाखेरि
What I would want to say is, that's always possible. I can give you a recent example. You're a presentation, it's a group presentation, and we had actually planted jokes. So, 3 hour presentation, and it wasn't a short one, it was a 3-hour presentation. We had about 100 slides, and it's boring books, when we actually put in the joke, the people did not laugh. That was like, we had to take a step back. Like, joke lame break boy, we actually removed them. So jokes and your structures, it's again all up to the presenter. I would always say it's like a horror movie background. So slides background, it's the ghost is never scary. It's the background music that makes a horror movie scary. So isko is just the background music and main put because then we have to be that. So this when there are limitations, that's problematic. So I would still say be as creative as possible. As long as the audience like it and your message is across, anything is possible.
Another thing I like to add is, like, before you are giving any kind of presentation, you should know your audience first of all. So that way you can customize your content and you can deliver your message across. Suppose you are giving a presentation to some military general and it's about a missile attack. You can obviously not be humorous at that point, but if it, but again, if it is about entertainment or some stuff like that, you can always be humorous. So you need to analyze the situation and you need to think, okay, that's why I'm humorous. So I think that is also important.
Well, प्रेजेन्टेसनको बारेमा सिक्दाखेरि थ्योरिटिकल सिक्दाखेरि इट सुड बी प्लेन कलर ब्ल्याक एन्ड व्हाइट युज गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने त्यही सिकाउँछु होइन। त्यसपछि इफेक्टिभ प्रेजेन्टेसन दिँदाखेरि चाहिँ पिक्चर युज गर्नुपर्छ, नो वर्ड्स, यति मिनिमम सेन्टेन्स लाइक दिस एन्ड दिस भन्छ नि। अनि त्यसपछि थ्योरी र यो प्र्याक्टिकल त एकदम भास्ट डिफ्रेन्ट भयो। त्यसपछि अनि हाम्रो बिजनेसमा पनि हामीले कस्तो खालको चाहिँ स्लाइड दिनुपर्छ होला इन फ्युचर?
Fiscal lesson, I have a very simple answer. I have given this kind of presentation to one of the biggest corporate houses or the biggest organization ever, UN Variety. They liked it. I've done it for the US Embassy, they loved it. And they actually gave me a grant of $50,000, you know? So which is like 50 lakh project, pawn of a life, and it's the presentation use. But again, it's all up to you. So if you give a presentation, and plus rules ko kaam se nahi kyo bhanda ke it actually helps you get in a direction. But again, presentation is not management or science, it's art. So art ko best part is you break all the rules and make your own. So you can do anything in the business world. Are there any questions?
That's it. Is there any questions from the audience?
I have a comment.
Okay, sir, have a comment.
I knew Abhishek
So you
would-
need a microphone?
No, no.
Okay.
No. I knew Abhishek would exceed that 10 slides per presentation limit. And because you know exactly what you're doing. You know, that's the main thing. So the whole object is not to bore the audience. And if the audience feels, for example, Sumit, at the front he said there would be at least 9 or 10 slides. Then it is 9 or 10 slides.
So yeah, as long as the audience feels comfortable, that's fine with me. I'm saying, no, that's what I'm at, but this is something. Okay, that's good for us. So anything else? Please have it. Bye.
Okay, thank you so much, King's College. That was really interesting, and I'm sure all of us who hears presentation will be using the tools and techniques from this presentation. Okay, now moving on, we have our last presenter from KFA Business School. Let's welcome Nimes.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Nimesh Vikari, student third semester KFA MBA. Now, before beginning, after looking at their presentation, I had prepared a structured presentation, you know, like 10 slides, like sort of 10 slides, I did 10 slides, and everything, and I tried to follow all the rules. Now, since they've done something different, I'm starting to feel like I should have done something cooler maybe. But this is what I have, so please make do with it. Okay, now the topic of my presentation today is persuasion. As you can see, my name is right there. So, yeah, and during the course of this presentation, I'm going to be talking about 6 drivers of persuasion that I've encountered that we can use in our lives, both personal and professional lives, to achieve growth, or to convince someone or do something else. And we'll be talking about those traits and how we can use them to persuade people and how we can counter being persuaded through those techniques. So this will be mostly about that. And moving on now, what is persuasion? Any ideas?
Making people say yes.
Of course. Anyone else? Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going about anyway. So I would have done like Merriam-Webster said persuasion is something like this, but that is, in a nutshell, persuasion is marketing. Sorry. So you guys can hear me, right? Yes. Right. Okay. Now, persuasion essentially is that to get people to do what we want them to do for us, and even while talking about all these things and what to present, there were so many interesting things about persuasion that I encountered. There was a persuasion slide, there were talk about psychological thinking, things like that. But I went with this because I thought it would fit the time frame of around 20 minutes. So I'm beginning with that. Okay, the first driver of persuasion. What might this be?
I don't know exactly the term, but I don't want to say.
Someone else? That is reciprocity.
I heard it wrongly. I have nice ears. So the first one is reciprocity. Now, what is reciprocity? Reciprocity in a nutshell means I do for you what you do for me. See, and this is I think not only is this one of the key drivers of persuasion in this world, but it's also a foundation of how human society has been built. You know, we do favors for each other. See, reciprocity in a nutshell is doing favors for each other. Let's take an example. Let's say, okay, Cheating here did well in an exam. So she will give you a party or something like that, will be coming a cake or chocolate or something like that. Now, what that inclines me to do is I'll be returning the favor to her as well. See, when something good happens with me next time, I'll be returning the same to her. And the same principle applies when we're trying to persuade people. Now, if you want to persuade someone, you should do things for them. If you want someone to do something for you, you should not say, okay, I want you to do this for me, you do this for me. They will never oblige you. If you want someone to do something for you in the present or the future, you should be doing things for them, giving them things. Now, the trick with this is that it does not have to be something really big, but it has. You're not having problem understanding. If anyone has trouble, I can do it that also. And now the trick with this is, again, it need not be very big. So, but you should have a habit of doing things for people. So if someone tells you, I have a, even in the classroom situation, let's take an example, we're all students here. Someone tells you, I'm having a problem with my assignment. Now what do? Do you help them or do you not?
Help them.
Now, it has two benefits. One, it feels good to help people. That's human nature. The other thing is it builds rapport with them. And the next time you need help, they are very much likely to oblige you. And it need not be only with homework, it can be with something else. Because that ethical feeling, that feeling of bondingness, because we did something for others, it carries on. And to persuade someone, now you can use the same thing. If you want someone to do something for you in the future, you start by doing small things for them currently. You lend them a pen, you lend them a pencil, the next time you will take their Apple MacBook Air and take it for a holiday. And they are much more likely to give you that because you need it, right? Because you are helping them as well. So that is there. Now, the key to not being persuaded with reciprocity is knowing how much reciprocity. See, that's all there is. I do you small favors, you do me a big favor. That is human nature. Now, you also have to, to counter this, if I'm doing you small favors, you should also be thinking about doing me only small favors. You should not be thinking about doing me big favors. See, and that's the key to countering reciprocity. Now the second one. You guys already had a look at my presentation. Let the other people there's so much time. Okay. This is scarcity. Now, scarcity is driven by two things. One is scarcity itself, the other is fear. And I don't like to go into fear too much because it's a negative way of viewing things, and we love to talk about positive things here. But scarcity essentially is, I want what I can't have. See? And it's a very powerful tool in persuading. Now let's take a professional example, personal example, and it becomes more clear. In case of a personal example, I just had it in my mind. Okay. In case of a professional example, let's suppose you're pitching something or you're trying to sell people something. If you tell them it's limited edition or it's one of a kind or it's not something that everyone can have, then people are more gradually inclined to buy it. For example, the iPhone Rose Gold edition, when it first came to the market, it was very in demand because it was something different and it was scarce and they made it only in limited numbers. You're getting that point, right? They made it in limited numbers, so it became scarce. And it sold. Now, if you want to sell something, the same applies. You just make them aware that the resource is scarce. It does not have to be scarce, by the way. It does not have to be something. You could sell a brick, but you have to make the person convince the person you're selling it to that it's a good brick. It's a royal brick. It might be a brick made of clay, but if you make it scarce enough, people are going to be clamoring for that brick like it's made of gold. See, that goes with the professional life. In personal lives, again, I forgot the example. I like to skip it. Sorry. Now, with regards to not being persuaded with scarcity, it's again the same thing. If someone tells you something, do not take it at face value. The key to because we are generally nonchalant and we are unassuming and we are busy with our own lives. If someone tells us something new, if someone tries to infuse something else, we generally tend to believe them, right? So if someone tells you something is scarce, something is not on list, think about it a second. Is that thing actually scarce? Can I, if you go to a shop, you try to buy a mobile, they'll tell you cannot get this somewhere else. You might have gone to a college to inquire for your professional bachelor or master's degree. They will probably be telling you the seats are running out quick. How many of us have heard that? Most of us have heard that, right? And what they do is that triggers a panic in our minds. That triggers a panic in our minds because it's a scarce resource. I want to have it, but I do not have the time. And then the logic, it goes out of the way. Like I was talking, right? I was so organized, they did a cool presentation, and now I'm like, my logic has gone out of the way. Now, how am I going to make my presentation scarce? How am I not going to make this ungeneric? How am I going to make this ungeneric? And then it takes your mind, and you cannot make the decisions you thought about making before you came here. You have to start from scratch. So, think about it. Is that thing scarce or not in real life? That applies a lot. The other one. Okay, this I think someone can guess, except you. I'm not with you guys. Any ideas? This is consistency. Yeah. So being consistent means doing the same things constantly. Now this has two implications. Again, in terms of persuading people. Now the first is being consistent in your words and your actions. No one likes someone who changes their mind every day, right? Like, for example, we all have friends, right? Let's go for a party tomorrow, and tomorrow, I don't have a good idea, do something else. Who likes that friend? Does anyone like that friend? No. The same applies with persuading people to do things for you. Now, if you are telling them some certain reasons for doing things for you today, you will be telling them certain other reasons tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, it will be another reason. Why should they believe you? First, be consistent in your thoughts and actions. Be consistent in what you're doing. The second thing, the psychological aspect of consistency, it again ties up to reciprocity. Like it's half like reciprocity, half it comes here. There's the thing, like if again, it comes back to the same thing. If you want someone to do something big for you, something large, you start by getting them to do something small for you. And believe it or not, it is one of the coolest dating tricks that I've read about today. If you want to convince someone to date you, or like you more, because again, persuading means if someone is to be persuaded by, they should like you, right? And we'll talk about likeness later on as well. They should like you. So what you can essentially do is you can get someone to like you by getting them to do small things for you. It does not have to be anything. It can be passing you a sheet of paper. But the more they do something for you, they feel like I'm doing something for them. At least their mind subconsciously thinks that because I'm doing something for them, I must like them. They must have something in common with me. And that goes a long way. Now, the key to persuading with consistency, again, start with small, go with the big. And be consistent in your thoughts and actions. With regards to not being persuaded through consistency, you should always think, what's the catch here? If someone is consistent with you, someone is doing things for you, like someone is going out of their way to do things for you, even small things. Why is this person doing this for me? You should always be thinking that. You should be aware of your situation. That way, even if you are almost at the mouth of getting caught with consistency, you still can conquer it. That is important. Now, the other one. Now, this I started with consensus, but I read somewhere and it is better as social proof. Social proof is something that people use a lot, especially advertisements use these things many times. Any idea what social proof is? I'll give you an example. So, again, I like to go with the vacations and parties because that's what people talk about in their classroom. Now, the entire class is going on a picnic. Okay, the guys have planned everything, the video is set, you have done everything, and at the last moment, I can't go. Now, I was the person likely to persuade you to go to that party or that picnic. They are most probably going to tell you the entire class is going, why are you not going? Is it or not? Again, with advertisements, with this is something that does not apply to the logical part of our brain. Like for example, if you are going to buy a toothpaste, they have a toothpaste advert. What will they be saying? They'll be saying 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this. Now what they don't tell you is if you scale it up, 9 out of 10 becomes 90 out of 100, 9,000 out of 10,000 and 90,000 out of 1 lakh. So 10,000 dentists are not recommending it. If you look at the big picture, what they tell you? 9 out of 10. To show you what? Social proof. Other people are doing it, why are you not doing it? And this is how human society has been formed. When the first guy started agriculture, way back in time, I don't know how many million years. I think it's million years back in time. When we were an agrarian society, if someone started agriculture, okay, they started planting things, they get good impact. Now, someone else will try to follow it, right? Because journal do not follow change, but someone else will follow it. And once the group was big enough, and they saw the advantages, they saw what people were doing, they came back to it. And the same with the bad things, the bad culture, the bad rituals in our society as well. The reason is, we have heard this many times, right? Why is this practice bad? Why are you doing this? Because my father did it, my grandfather before he did it, everyone does it, I should also do it. Most recently, when one of my relatives passed away, I went to my village in Warkot, and it was the same argument, Like, we did it from the times of our father, everyone in the village does it, why should we not do it? And that's where logic goes out of the way. And social proof works that way. Donald Trump used it very much. If you listen to his speeches, like we were talking about Trump earlier, so I'd like to add to that one also. He used social proof very much. You always used to say, you used to make a statement and tell me, okay, this many people agreed with me, or this person agreed with me, or the group agrees with what I'm saying. And it makes us inclined to do the same thing. And the human society is based on that. The clothes we wear, the technologies we use, it is due to mass adaptation, right? And once there is a certain degree of penetration in the market, people go behind it. Now to persuade it, again, social proof. You use numbers and you say that all the people are doing it, why should we not? And it's a very persuasive tool. It does not sound like a persuasive tool, right? Persuasive back then, but it's a very persuasive tool and we use it all of the time. In regards to countering that, right? How to counter social proof? And it's again, you always should think what's the catch? And why should I do this? Try to be a little bit different, not too much different. Right? If you get too much different, you get shunned out of the society that's there. But if you be a little bit different and you think for yourself, you can counter this. Just think if someone is telling you 90 people are doing it, you ask them a few questions. How is this? What happened? Just do not take the word on face value. Go and ask your friends, are you going to the picnic or not? Once I tried the same technique. We had a class of 50 people. I think it was grade 2 when I was in grade 9. And I was coordinating the entire picnic. And one group was saying, we will not do. The other group was saying, we will not do. I went to them. Okay. Everyone is going, why? Again, you go to the other group, you tell them, everyone is doing, why? And they feel a little bit guilty. They will this and do this. But the key to countering it is, again, be a little bit informed. If someone tells you something, do not take it at face value. And that can go a long way. Yeah, that can go a long way. That's good. Okay. This is an interesting one. Anyone?
Why not?
It's similar to that. It's actually not why not, but it's similar to that. Huh? Yeah, that's authority. People are always persuaded by authority. He talked about casual clothes, right? Talked about casual clothes, but even in casual, you are formally casual. as I see you. Now, had you come here wearing half pants and like Converse and funky hat, so the whole package. I'm talking about the whole package. I'm not only talking about that. I'm talking about the whole package. The shorts and everything. And he came here and told me, okay, maybe his type of presentation would have worked, but you came here and told people, okay, we need to do this, something serious. Would people believe you? Would they listen to what you say? They'll be saying this guy is lying through his teeth. What is he doing here? Because the overall thing, it does not exude authority. Authority is important. The same thing, yeah. If you're crossing the street, not using a zebra crossing. If there's a traffic person looking at you, you will wait, you will cross the street and you will go. But if there's someone who is in plain clothes telling you do not do that, will you listen to him? We recently had a video on, I think, social media, right? Someone trying to block them from crossing the road just here in Paris, no? And the girl was resisting so much and she was telling what it is not a good thing. Why? Because they did not have authority. Now the key to authority is you do not need to have it to use it, right? You just need to make people believe that you have authority. You come into the room, you strut around, you're sitting like you own the room. People are generally going to think, okay, this guy is something. This girl is something. Okay, so this girl is authoritative. And then if you tell them something, they are more likely to listen. Would you listen to a guy working in a private company or a government employee wearing pants? You'd be more towards a government employee because the dress up exudes authority. Now, authority can be exuded in many ways. I'm only talking about dress up because it seems relevant here. Authority can come through the tone of your voice. And one of the best things about authority is it can come through silence. Like we do not realize the power of silence. I was talking about Mohammad Qatani before also that the power of silence is very good. Profile in front of people as having someone of authority that you know certain things, then you can convince them. You want to sell someone insurance? Tell them I've been working in insurance for 10 years, I'm an agent for 5 companies. They'll be much more likely to believe you, even if you don't have. Now, I do not recommend doing this. This is deceitful, immoral, and wrong, but you can do that. Now, the key to countering authority also lies in the same thing. You should realize that authority necessarily does not mean that the person is right. It is not necessary that the person is right. Okay, Einstein, everyone knows Albert Einstein, right? The greatest man in history. But his theories have been proved wrong. So, if the perceived greatest man and the most intelligent man in the world, perceived, I'm using the word perceived here, because everyone might not share the same belief, is not right all the time. How can someone who is just saying certain things can be? So think about that a little. That can also go along with doing this one. That was funny by the way. I actually wanted to use the Facebook like, but it would look like a cliche, so I used a different like. And this is one of the most important things about persuading, like this. You could use all those 5 things, but if it's not that, people are not going to listen. If they do not like you, they are not going to listen to you one way or the other. Now, that liking can be in a profit sense, like you talked about the business environment, right? So, in a business environment, it can be in a profit sense. Like, I can like you because you give me good profits. We have a certain relation that facilitates financial welfare. Or it can be because we share common interests. That's how we became friends anyway, the first day of class, I remember, I'm someone who is a little bit forward talking with people, but I do remember that on the first day of class, everyone is sitting there, everyone is talking about what the hell is this guy going to do, what is his background, what is this girl doing, and you look at their faces and they're serious and things like that. And would you imagine you'd be friends with that guy 5 years down the road? Or 10 years down the road, and you still remain friends, you'll be the best of buddies. Would you imagine that the first day of class? Do you know anything? No. But you build that relationship, don't you? See, we make friends through interaction. So the first time we'll be okay if I say she'll be telling me her name, and I'm guessing where are you from, please and we'll be talking about certain things, and we'll try to find common interests. Like for example, what interests you? So we'll be talking about presentations, like why learning presentations is good, or why death by PowerPoint is the topic we're talking about today, right? Yeah, it's working. And then we see that do you have common interests? If we have common interests, then we move on to bonding. Then if we have common interests, we do the same things, right? And then we like each other. And then at the end of the day, at the end of 6 months, like if there's a fight there, you are going to be watching for the cat, watching someone else. That happens, right? Not even 6 months, it can happen in 3 months, right? If you actually like each other, because you feel like you're like a family, you feel a bond between yourself. And the key to likeness in persuasion using it is the same thing. Now you can use, again, you can use this in two ways. Right? I use this positively or negatively. Negatively it can be, and again, another one of the good dating tips that I learned, if you want to convince someone, because I'm trying to be cooler, if you want someone to like you should mirror their actions. Like for example, he's sitting there working on his cell phone, so I'll be also sitting here working on my cell phone, looking at this. What's up, dude? And he's just texting. The other guy is fond of talking, so I'll be talking with him more. Someone else sits silently and thinks about philosophy and things like that. I'm talking philosophy. That way you can get closer to people just by mirroring their actions, what they are doing. And that likeness can lead to many things. Do something for you. And the key to countering likeness, now this is very hard to counter. How do you say no to someone who you like very much? You might say no to a friend if it doesn't. How do you say no to a crush? Seriously. How do you, it can happen, right? How do you say no to people? You should always be thinking. Huh? Simply no. Simply no. You can do that?
Yes.
I appreciate that. I like to see you try.
Yeah.
But it actually makes people, like whatever we do, if we like someone.